And welcome to another exciting episode of the In-Game Boss Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy, a.k.a. your retro activist, a.k.a. your in-game boss, a.k.a. your taco salad eater. I like taco salads. I got one at this local Mexican restaurant, and it's quite delicious, like my guac, like my sour cream, like my rice. When I was there, they told me what choice of meat, and I'm like, oh, I get a choice of meat? Because the picture just showed, just lettuce, tomatoes, and rice. I'm like, I'm fine with that. But they said, okay, well, let me get some barbacoa. Let me get some nice little beef on there. And so, results beef. Quite delicious. So, awesome. And of course, this is part of the In-Game Boss Program, Network Game and other variety shows. So please check out all our great shows that you can find on our listening spot. That you can find the link down below the description, and of course YouTube, where we can find some great gameplay that. My co-host, my second in chair, Jaron Williams.
Yes. A.K.A. The Evil of Aku, A.K.A. the Grumpy Bear, A.K.A. Probably one of the last people on this planet who actually enjoyed fighting vipers. And who's about to, speaking of food, who's about to get some drunken noodles here shortly.
I think you are the only one that likes fighting vipers, because based on my picture here, looks like you're in a dark void of people that like fighting viper.
It wasn't a bad game, and I just found out a little bit ago that they re-released it on PlayStation 3 and Xbox Live. If it's still there, I'm totally down for it. I will get hyped for anything that indicates that maybe Sega will wake up and start re-releasing some more Saturn games.
Yeah, you would think like a Saturn collection would be pretty cool. Like digitally wise. Like you buy them separately.
10 games.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of rad.
Yeah, that's worth $60 to me. 10 Saturn games, and here's the thing, and it's like to kind of stick that pinprick into all those speculators and stuff. Make them 10 games. At least half of them have to be some of the most expensive ones. Like find the source code, do something, and just like that hot knife. Just stick that. yeah, straight up.
Give me one. Give me one that has to be on that list. Then, what's that one Saturn game that has to be on that list?
Albert's. Crap. It has to be straight from Sega, doesn't it? Because I was hoping they would work with Game Arts and get Albert Odyssey and.
Would you put in Panzer Dragoon Saga?
I would. Never will happen. They lost the damn code. But if they didn't, yes, Panzer Dragoon Saga, no need for Panzer Dragoon remake because that's already out. Mm-hmm. Blazing Rangers. Okay. Let's see. I would, just to shine people on, Golden Axe the Duel. I wouldn't play it.
I guess bring Guardian Heroes back, since they just won't bring it back, the remaster one anymore that was on Xbox Live.
Yeah, Guardian Heroes. You can still get Guardian Heroes Advance on the Game Boy Advance. Yeah. They're like, if you like that, just go buy Code of Princess. Yeah. Guardian Heroes. I would say, what's that game that's like $600? Pretty much anything on the Saturn. Right. No, Die Hard Arcade.
Okay.
Yeah,
throw a Bug in there. Maybe Bug and Bug 2. Let's throw those two in there.
I mean, you might as well just say Clockwork Night 1 and 2.
I was about to roll that up next, because apparently that was one of the biggest highlights on there.
Remember, we want people to actually buy this collection.
Yep. True.
My big red machine is barking because there's people in existence.
I see. Yeah. I thought he just wanted to put his 2 cents in there.
He's too young. He's too young to remember Saturn. His philosophy is if it's on the floor, I eat it.
But I know one thing everybody should remember. This is Oklahoma's #1 video game podcast show. So you're in the right spot for video game stuff. No,
video game sundries.
No. If this is your first time listening, thank you so much. If you are coming back to listen to more of us, thank you very much. And as you know, this is a show that we don't only challenge you, but we challenge ourselves with fun topics and whatnot. But this episode is going to be kind of a layback before we get to the big meat of the summer. Summer breeze makes me feel calm. No, we got quite a lineup of guests coming through. We got E3 coming up. You know, a lot of fun stuff. Maybe Dreamcast 2 talk. I don't know. I just throw that out there. But here we're going to kind of just chill, and we're going to talk about how's 2021 been treating us so far. So before that, though, Jaron, we haven't talked about what we've been gaming. So what about you? What's in your repertoire? What have you been gaming?
Well,
what buttons you been smashing into?
I've been kind of going through some bedtime hours for Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity.
Okay.
Every time I keep saying, okay, just the story, just focus through the story, I get caught up on some side quest mission and
too many carrots. Too many carrots around you, huh?
Not yet, actually. Link, Zelda, the Four Champions, Impa, and so far another character I won't mention. And spoiler.
Oh, you thought I said character? I said carrot.
Oh yes.
So many carrots that you like that keeps leading you to do another
carrots.
Stuff.
Yes,
yeah,
carrots. Yes. Not too many sticks, thankfully, but enough carrots. I have been occasionally touching on Valheim. The lady Brandy and I have been playing Valheim. Getting people to kind of dip in on my dedicated server, start up little settlements. We have a little city, little burgeoning town that we occasionally hop onto for an hour or two a day. And there was a special. I think the special's over now, as of this recording or as of this listening. But it was Double Dragon 1 through 3 and 15 Kunio-kun games.
Okay.
So that included Super Dodgeball, River City Ransom, Renegade, and then a bunch of Japanese only, or at least up until now, Japanese only Kunio-kun games. So I was able to snag that for about $10 off the eShop.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been playing that a little bit. I've been getting a little bit of my nostalgia on. My Super Dodgeball, my Double Dragon. So, I found I've been putting a lot of beat 'em ups on this.
It is a good machine for those arcade games. That's why they throw so many up on there, especially the Schnuff games themselves. That's been a gold mine for a lot of developers to put on there. Fighting games is the most difficult.
Yes.
Fighting is the most difficult on there because they're just not a dedicated D-pad for that thing unless you get the special Joy-Con, which it doesn't work either for that.
It has to be connected to the Switch for it to work.
Yeah. Lame.
That's whack.
Yeah. So, what have I been gaming? Well, actually, I've been working on a couple of projects before gaming. So, just to let you know, When Jeremy Met Nam movie podcast has returned. It has returned since the 5th, with our special double feature. That is the Justice League, the Snyder Cut, and the Josh Whedon cut. So definitely go check those out on our listening site and YouTube. So you get to see Mr. Nam and what has he been up to and whatnot. And in Mortal Kombat.
7 hours of Justice League. I commend you guys.
I know, right? Followed by Mortal Kombat's going to be coming up next. We have a double feature for Mortal Kombat, so definitely check that out on the 19th. So it'll be next week by the time you listen to this episode. So I'm excited to put that out there and whatnot. I returned and trying to build myself up to Kingdom Hearts 3. I am playing the collection. I'm trying to work on a special project for that. Hopefully it works out. I don't have a date for it yet, but just going through that again, it's been really interesting. And when you play a game, let me put it this way. When you beat the game the first time, you just beat it. And then maybe the second, third time, you just start noticing other stuff around the game. It's kind of like rewatching a movie. Like you watch the movie for what it is, and the third time and fourth time you watch it, you start looking for details that you didn't notice the other times around. That's what Kingdom Hearts is doing to me. So playing this game for like the third time, once for each generation, I'm noticing some details on story and the lore and some of the world itself and the gameplay and whatnot. So that's been interesting. But I'm also splitting that cap fare with Yakuza because Yakuza's on sale for their new Chinese year sale or whatever.
Lunar New Year sale.
Yeah. So weirdly enough, the collection's $39.99, but each individual one for 3, 4, and 5, which is in that collection, are $9.99 each. So My question is like, is it better to buy them each individually, and that'd be like you'd be saving like, I don't know, I'm just throwing a number out here, maybe like a couple of bucks per se, you know. But the thing about it is, I wasn't a big fan of 3. I like 4, and now I'm playing 5 because they said 5 is the biggest one, you know, with 5 characters you're playing as. So, and I never got to play 5, and 5 is the one holding me back from playing 6 and playing 0 and 2. Weirdly enough, I guess I could play 0 and 2 without going to that, but I wanted to go by the order that I started it with. Yeah. So I started at 3, and I'm just continuing on, and so I want to see how that ends, and then go right back to the beginning. Especially in the order 0 came out after 6, right? So I'm just playing. I guess I'm playing by release. Then I'm playing by release.
You're nicer than me. I've just been starting with 0, and I'm just going to play it chronologically.
No,
but
do you?
I don't care if I save 2 pennies. I'm going with the cheaper option. Even if you don't want to even play 3, you might get curious later.
Yeah, is it a cheaper deal? Right?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, but think of it this way. Let's say you own 0, Kiwami 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and eventually Judgment, and get Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
Not having 3 is going to bother you eventually.
No, it doesn't, because I played it way before. It was the first one, and after playing it, it just didn't. They didn't have a lot of good. They had some ideas in there, but it was kind of boring.
Okay.
Yeah, and I honestly don't need that. Now, if I was an artist collection enthusiast person, yes, it would bother me. But here's the thing, though: they're half digital, half physical, so I threw that out the window. So if I was a physical person, I'd be bothered by it. And the funny part is, I did have 3 and 4 physically, but then I got rid of them because I was going to get the collection physical. But that just didn't happen. I didn't have the money at the time. Now it's hard to find. So I'm fine with it. And 3, to me, kind of wraps up. It's really its own story, really, in my opinion. But 4 I liked, so I definitely needed to play 4 to understand 5, and 5 from there. The only reason why is 3 is still Kiyu. I forgot his name, but anyways, is him alone in that game.
Kiryu Kazuma?
Yeah, it's him solo in the third one. But the problem is 4, you're playing arc with 4 characters, then 5 adds on. So you need to play 4 that kind of connect with 5, kind of, right? Because those characters come back again and reoccurring, you play them again. So, anyways. But
sounds like you're going to have to blast through all the main quests, screw the side quests.
Yeah. We'll just see what happens. I'm not in a rush, you know. I'll get through them when I get through them, because those are going to be, that and Kingdom Hearts are going to be the longest arcs for me. So I'm kind of rotating. So I'll beat Kingdom Hearts, then I'll play Yakuza, then play the next Kingdom Hearts, you know.
Yeah,
we'll see where that goes.
Be sure to wash your palate from all those RPGs with some action games.
Yes, exactly. And then from there, you know, I wanted to finish Judgment before getting to the Yakuzas. So I finished Judgment. Judgment's story is really good. I really like Judgment. It's really, really good. Like, it's probably the best story they have written in that lore, the world of Yakuza.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love the whole, like, lawyer detective into this investigation about a cure for dementia and what's behind the doors of getting that cure. The whole story of most stories that you hear of how many people have to sacrifice to save 1 million people kind of talk. And so, yeah. And I always been a fan of those kind of stories of like, ooh, that's kind of like a mystery. Like who's dying off? Who's getting the, you know, the shit end of the stick for this cure. And so, and it's funny. I like courtroom talks, you know, cause I like watching, you know, like 2020, I like watching like, you know, these stories and how they take place in court and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. I wish it was a little more Ace Attorney where you get more hands onto it. I wish it was half and half. I wish you were Ace Attorney in there. You got to put more clues, and you do in the game. You do put them in the game, but they kind of put it on autopilot for you. Like, yeah. like you can make a mistake, but they'll backtrack and like give you a second chance.
It's beatable.
Yeah, they'll handicap for you. But like, I want it where like if I messed up, I messed up. That guy got off scot free.
You want unforgiving.
Yeah, permadeath in the courtroom.
So like, objection. Tampering with the witness. I caught him beating his ass in the alley 2 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. I want to yell at the controls, saying objection, and the word comes across. No, just kidding. No, no, Judgment is really good. I recommend playing it. Outside of that, everything outside the story, the side quest, is kind of bland. It's kind of boring.
Okay.
Didn't like it.
More Yakuza?
Yeah, it's very low. I feel like the Yakuza games, they give you more stuff to do. This one just has the low end. It almost did like the bare minimum. You know, go play baseball, go on a date, you know.
They're like, screw you. You know you're going to buy us.
Yeah.
We know you're going to buy us.
Yeah. Go to the arcades, enjoy some of the classic games that will never be re-released again. You know, all those kind of games, right? But the other Yakuza games in that world, taking place where Judgment is, there was more stuff. Like, you can go do little mini race car games. You can go do other little fun stuff in there. And I guess Judgment might have a little bit of variety for people that want to argue about it. Like, they have some variety. I guess for me, it just wasn't fun. It was just, some of the ideas just weren't fun for me. Some of the side stories were interesting in their own way. But Judgment, you would go there for the story. You would definitely go for the story, because that's where the banger is. And the cast is awesome. This is my favorite cast out of all of them. Like, they are just awesome together. And just the way they do stuff together. Like, they get me so hype. I actually get hype when we have to go raid a building, or it's us against everybody kind of situation. Like, for instance, like one episode, we had to go, one particular chapter, we had to go rescue this person that's in this building full of Yakuzas. And it's like, that gets me pumped. Because it's like, it's us, my buddies, we are going to work our way up like, you know, game of death. Getting to that, you know, yeah, just working our way up and just, you know, kicking butt and, you know, all that stuff. Or we're getting surrounded by everybody, and then your partner's like, let's do this. And like, I love it. Especially the ex Yakuza member that is your partner in the group. I think his name is Kaido. He is my hype man. Like, he's that guy that will hype up the room every time. Like, he's just, you know, 50 points right off the bench every time kind of person. He is just ready to bang it out. Like, he's like, let's do this. You guys got nothing on me. And like, and I love the fact that there's tag team when you do the fighting, when it's time to fight. So like, sometimes they'll give you a signal and you can go up to them, and then you guys do a quick, you know, combo move. So for people that haven't played Yakuza, you know, it's basically you're just fighting. Now, I don't want to compare it to Tekken, but you are fighting in that kind of way where it's kind of a beat 'em up, but it also has some technique moves you can do. But it's not like you're doing the move to do the technique. It's more of you're building up your meter so you can do a badass move to somebody, right? That's the point of it. And that's what is cool. The only thing Judgment has a tough is that he's not part of Yakuza. You know, he's a good person per se, so he can't do the super like dirty moves like Yakuza 5, where one of the moves I unlocked is you knock a guy down and he will scrape his face in the concrete back and forth. It's just
nice.
Yeah, you know, it's like you can't do that in Judgment. But I wish sometimes, because some of those guys deserve it. You know. Well,
so it sounds like it still has some Virtua Fighter elements. I mean, but it's Sega. Sega, what are you going to do? I mean,
yeah,
I'm still surprised we haven't seen Akira Yuki in the background of a Yakuza game.
Yeah, so. or one of those characters in a Tekken game soon. You know, as a crossover deal.
It's like, okay, wait, we can have Noctis, and we can have all three major fighting game, three major fighting game franchise bosses: Geese Howard, Akuma, and Heihachi. But we can't get Akira Yuki or Jackie Bryant or somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't get me started. Yeah, that's a whole. Don't get me started.
Yeah, it's just Judgment just does a good job with the story they have. Is really focused on a situation where it makes you think. I like those kind of situations. They kind of make you think of like, ooh, like what would I do in that situation? You know, what if you're dependent on so much people are backing you up for investing into your idea of that you might have a cure for dementia. That's a lot of heavy on you. That's a lot to load.
That's a lot of money that someone somewhere is going to get pissed off about too.
Yeah, so I recommend checking it out. just for the story, I think the story enough makes up for the lack of other side stuff you do in the game and whatnot. And so definitely check that out. But with that being said, let's get into our first bit of news. Speaking of that, Sega has just brought out some announcements for the next installment of Judgment for Judgment Day. They call it Judgment Day. That happened by the time you listen to this last week. And it's called Lost Judgment. It's a sequel to it. And it's a 5-minute video. And it's basically showing you what the next installment it is. And by just giving you a quick idea of what it is, it's basically looks like it's the people against the rules of the law. Like, people are really questioning the law of what's going on. So much that people are getting killed, but somehow they're getting away with it because of the law. So it's almost like an anarchy kind of story. Per se, I remember at the very beginning
like
of the video.
Purge or
no, not like a purge.
Okay,
not like a purge. It's more of people are doing bad things because these people are getting away of doing bad things.
Okay, it's like, why should I obey the law if these folks aren't obeying the law?
Yeah, basically trying to be a law-abiding citizen, kind of, right? It starts like, for just a glimpse at the beginning, you see this guy in a courtroom, and he gets sentenced to, I forgot what they sentenced him, but it wasn't anything too big. And then right there in the moment, he said, "Hey, by the way, on where such and such in the building, there's a dead body in there. I did that." And
by the way,
yeah, and it's like, what? And everybody was shocked in the courtroom. It's like, I didn't know that, and all this kind of stuff. And it's more of, this guy was telling the story of, there's that guy that I killed. You guys did nothing to him. Because he did all these things. He did A, B, and C, and no one stopped him from doing it. The law did not step in for that. So I had to take matters in my own hands. And it seems like that's the story for this one, is people are taking matters in their own hands. And the main character is trying to figure out what's going on. So that's the paraphrase. That's me paraphrasing it. I don't know the right details of it. I kind of took a quick glimpse of it. But definitely go check it out. It looks really good. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. It comes out September 2021.
No, that's great that Judgment was successful enough. They're like, all right, cool, let's do another. I think they already had that in the barrel. Yeah, and they were probably I bet they would have announced it last year, but whatever.
Yeah, I think that the studio, which I can't pronounce their name, but it's basically the way they say Yakuza in Japanese, I guess, in their own way or whatever. But you could look it up and tell me how to say it. But anyways, that studio basically has a formula, and I think they're just sticking with it. They have something there, and it's building up. It's almost their Monster Hunter.
Actually, that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, all right, this is our go-to. Yakuza, Judgment. Judgment is to Yakuza what Monster Hunter Rise is to the main Monster Hunter series.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, or Monster Hunter Stories. Would that be a better one?
I'm not familiar with Monster Hunter Stories. I mean, I know of them, but I haven't really played them. Okay,
well, I'm saying, like, it's kind of in the same universe, but it's his own story.
Yeah, it's or like Pokemon Snap to the mainline Pokemon games. It's in the same universe.
Yeah. So definitely check that out. Or be excited. If you haven't, go check that out. Also, too, there is going to be a remaster of Judgment coming to PS5. Also, I believe this year. Course. So, with ray tracing and stuff. So, that's probably the best play to do it. And so
I just hope they allow people who have it on the PS4, like they've been doing with other games, free upgrade, upscale, or whatever.
I haven't heard anything yet, but here's hoping for the best. With that being said, what about Yakuza itself? So, Like a Dragon came out last year for basically all the consoles, all the main consoles except for Switch, and which is funny. I still think to this day, during our talk of the You Change Part 2 with publishers, I feel like Sega's missing an opportunity putting those games on there. But anyways, so Like a Dragon, apparently, I guess it done decent well. My boy Jaron, you heard him on the show. He's playing it right now and everything like that. So apparently
everybody I've talked to played it, loves it.
Yeah. So I can't wait to get my hands on it. You don't need to play the other ones to play this. You can just play this one straight up. It's his own new series, but they're sticking with that turn-based RPG style for going forward. So after Like a Dragon, expect every other one. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it does need to change. Yeah. I think it needs to change up because Kiru's story's over. So that style gameplay, all this stuff, there needs to be something new. And I think this new RPG series will be kind of cool. And then it'll be exciting to see what they do next after that, right? But but I think that's where Judgment comes in. Judgment comes in where if people don't like the RPG and they miss at you because it's like, here's the new series for you. But we want to try this RPG series. Jaron, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's actually good that Sega is getting more into RPGs. I mean, whenever someone mentions Sega and RPGs, not counting Atlas, it's hard to really think of anything beyond Phantasy Star and Shining Force or the Shining series. So it's good that they are saying, okay, you know what? We're going to do this RPG. It's going to be like a modern day take, and it's going to be set in a Yakuza world. It's going to go be outrageous, over the top action. You know, we are seeing the rise. We're not seeing the fall of JRPGs. Quite the opposite. But we are seeing the rise of more Western style RPGs. Mm-hmm. And I think they're finally finding the perfect mix of Western style RPG pacing, story, content with JRPG mechanics. Mm-hmm. You know, so you don't have to bog someone down with 3 hours of mechanics that take forever to master in order to play a game. No shade, not too much shade against games like Disgaea and God, JRPG number 76,000 on Steam. But I don't want to learn the same mechanic and a new twist and master it in order to play your game that is pretty much the same story. Yeah. So I like this. It's a change of pace. And with Yakuza, you know, think about it. Yakuza has what, 0 through 6, mm-hmm. and then Judgment. That's 8 games. You know, so I think this is a great way of changing direction.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. Especially, that will be a pick that we'll be doing in a new show that we're bringing out in June called the Role Based Podcast that I'm doing with my buddy Brian. That is a dedicated RPG podcast show based on turn-based games. So we're excited to show that in June. So definitely look out for that. Along with another show that is coming on YouTube with my buddy Bree called Ace and Scrub. So that's fun. Basically,
you just want an excuse to play Skies of Arcadia again. I know it.
That's on the list for role base. Yeah. Because the other thing is we're both trying to play games that we never played before, and even games we have to revisit. So like he never played Skies of Arcadia, and that will be my revisit. You know, and work and whatnot, and just kind of have open discussion about it, just how we feel about the game and whatnot. So definitely check that out. We're almost done for the season. So when that starts, we'll be wrapping up our last game, and we can't wait for you guys to hear that.
That's going to be fun. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. We're going to try to work on video for that too. But and then Ace and Scrubs is going to be basically it's a highlight reel of some of our highlights of our gameplay together. So they're very short videos. You're just going to see the highlights of our adventures that just made us laugh, or we had a good time doing, and you just kind of see those small clips and just funny things that we said on the voyage. So that's going to be fun.
Okay, right. Speaking of funny, when are we going to see you and your homegirl in some Valheim?
Some Valheim? Well, I have to talk to her about it, but oh, you're talking about the other girl. I'm sorry. You're talking about my homegirl, Misfit. She has it. I have to talk to her.
No, I know Misfits has Valheim. I'll work on shaming her into playing it later. I know. I mean your friend Bree.
She doesn't have a powerful PC enough to play that.
I don't think you ever have too powerful PC.
I'll ask her because she has a laptop. Yeah. So I'll ask her.
Ooh, yeah, that depends on how old that laptop is.
Yeah, I'll ask her about it. I'll see if that's her cup of tea. But she's been like a console person for the longest time. So, I mean, she'd probably be down for it too. But I mean, she comes because when we do our gaming, she comes over here to do our sessions and whatnot. So,
okay.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible, Mr. Jaron. So,
anything is possible with enough peer pressure. Yes.
Yes. So definitely check out both of those shows. Both of those shows will be coming out in June. We'll have a date for that very soon for you. So next piece of news, Division. Yeah. Remember that game came out about 3 or 4 years ago, Division 2.
Yeah.
And it's been slowing down a little bit, but it's still keeping alive. There's a community, it's still staying there and whatnot. So
I know you guys were playing it a little bit. I was trying to get in on it a bit, but it was getting a little too grindy for me.
Yeah, well, we Nam and I, when we played it along with Jaron, we were just story focused. We didn't want to do any. We just want to get through the story and move on. That's what we did. That's what we wanted to do. We might come back with some DLC later in life, but other than that, we were in that. Like I said on our show, of You Changed Me, ongoing games. I don't have time for those. Like, I like just to get in and get out and move on.
Yeah.
Too many games in the catalog. You know what I mean?
Destiny 2. Yeah, that's one of those. It's like I can't play that.
Yeah,
I can't play Destiny 2.
So they mentioned Ubisoft just announced that Division will be coming to mobile. I don't know if it's the second one or if it's going to be its own thing on mobile. I don't know, but Division is coming to the phone and it's also in early development. I would probably think it's its own thing. I don't think they could port the old one or the second one on there per se. I think this has to be its own thing, and I don't think it's going to be like a big universe world, open world like that. I think it's going to be a smaller deal for that. Maybe it'll connect with Division 2 or the next Division game in some way, or shape, or form.
I remember when they announced the original Division, they said, "Oh, it'll be 3 or 4 players," and then the 4th player or 5th player can control on their mobile or tablet device a little drone and help you guys out.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I wonder if they're actually going to implement that now the technology's matured, or if it's going to be like PUBG Mobile.
Yeah, they did that for Battlefield too. They did. Yeah, they have a similar idea.
And nobody used it.
I think it was too ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I look at this, especially this past year, it has made a lot of companies revisit how they do co-op gaming or how they do co-op gaming. And I'm sorry, but most people are at home, and you can either play on your little mobile device and support someone but not really be in the game, or you can go get the game, hop on the console, and actually fight it out with alongside your friends. So what are you going to do?
So I know my phone's going to blow up if I play this game. So I'm definitely not on board of this particular one. Does this interest you at all, Jaron?
Anything mobile, it's got to be Special Beast to get me. Division mobile, no. I mean, if I couldn't get into the Division game that much, like I had fun playing with you guys. Like it was actually fun playing, story missions and everything. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, I mean, it's like you. I can't do the persistent stuff, so I can't jump into mobile.
Yeah,
like you're not going to see me if they do Destiny mobile. Not going to do that. If they do Anthem mobile, they won't. I'm not going to do that. So.
All right, so there's a no for both of us, but let us know down in the comments below, or leave a comment on our wherever you're listening to us at, and we will be happy to talk about that. Next up,
tell us why you like it, and then we'll tell you why you're wrong. No, I'm just playing.
That's why we're number 1 in Oklahoma. Anyways, next up is Nintendo. Nintendo dropped a little stealth announcement coming in on June 11th for $30. Is Game Builder Garage. It's your dream on Nintendo. Kinda.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you want to tell us how to make? You know what? Since you're so damn smart, since you're so GD smart, here, make your own damn game.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
So, yeah, this was a big surprise. What did you think of this? Did this come out of left field for you, or do you think it's one of those like I saw it kind of coming in the future?
They were building up to it. I mean, think about it. Mario Maker 2, you had Labo. They're leaning more into that creative. My jokes aside, I think it's good. I don't know if I'll get it, but I think it's capitalizing on a lot of the creativity that's out there. Honestly, I think this would have made a bigger splash if it was released last year. At the height of the pandemic and stay-at-home orders, but I think it's good, and the price point, $30. That's chef's kiss right there. Mwah. That's the magic price point that's going to get it into people's homes. That's going to be an impulse buy for some people.
It almost feels like, weirdly enough, this would have been a good game launch game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I say what you will about Nintendo, their anti-consumer practices, their hypocrisy, their refusal to let any of their games lower on price, their refusal to revisit any of their much beloved old franchises. But they don't release a game until they are certain it's done.
True. So for people that don't know what the concept of game building, other than the self-title kind of give you the idea of it, Game Builder Garage will teach players how to create their own game through fun guided lessons that cover the basics of visual game programming. So my question for you, Jaron, is based on the trailer. Did the trailer kind of showed? Did the game trailer kind of point that across? Did it kind of show you that it looks easy to make your own game?
A little bit, but that's only because where I work, I have to work with a lot of developers, and they use various forms of programming and planning. From the game trailer and then some of the screenshots, it looks like, you're going to be using different box, like flowchart style programming for games. And you know what? I think that's great. That's great for little kids, because remember, ladies and gentlemen, this game is primarily intended for younger kids. It's not intended for that 35-year-old stud muffin that, buys up everything. It's intended for kids first.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great way to get, it looks great. And I think they might want to market it a little bit harder towards kids. Because I think it's a great way to get more kids either interested or even more jazzed about game design. Because you give a 8-year-old, 9-year-old Super Mario Maker 2, they will make some very interesting levels.
And you too, if you buy the game, you too can make all the Nintendo games that you wish they would make, but they just don't have the time or they don't care about you. Like Star Fox, like F-Zero.
Yeah. Not to mention that's something they can constantly support by adding more modules.
Exactly.
So it's $30. But this other module that adds an RPG element, that's $20.
So you think there's going to be like a DLC package to add on to this, like more tools and stuff? You think that's going to happen?
I mean, I'll put it this way: it's going to be DLC, but they're going to call it "quote unquote" tools. I mean, you got fighter passes for Smash Brothers.
It's a missed opportunity not to keep this alive, right? Kind of like
exactly.
Super Mario Maker. Yeah, just keep adding stuff. Which I need to get Super Mario Maker too. I just haven't had the time to get that yet.
Don't worry, it's not going anywhere. And if you're not in love with physical, it'll be on sale repeatedly digital.
That's true.
I think they're going to do something this summer, I think.
That's true. Yeah. EA. You know EA. Everybody knows EA. You know their reputations. Yep. You know what they like to do. You can't spell cheap without EA, And so with that in mind, it is interesting that once again they are buying another studio. And we all know the rules of EA when they buy a studio. If you are not successful on your first game, you might be merged or kicked out or shut down. One of those are going to
will be.
You will be.
You will be.
Yep. You're on the chopping block even when you start. So they acquire Metalhead Studios because EA wants to get back into baseball games. So what does that mean? Well, the studio has made Super Mega Baseball. So are they planning to do a funny baseball game, or are they planning to do more of a serious game like MLB The Show? I think it's going to be goofy. I don't think it's going to be serious. I think it's going to be goofy. I think it's going to be kind of like 2K's, WWE Playground or NBA Jam, their own way of doing that. So maybe another King Griffey All-Star game on the Super Nintendo makes a return? Nah, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
I'd love to see
Barry Bonds,
Super Baseball, like 2033 game that came out in like the early 1990s. It was like on Neo Geo and Super Nintendo and stuff. Cyborgs and androids and robots and humans, juiced up, humans. So basically, baseball players playing baseball. And I think if they go an arcadey route like that, I could see this doing pretty well, especially if, multiplayer aspect, they could have fun with that. But, EA, as you said, they want to find some way to monetize this for constant, keep the money coming in.
Wouldn't it be funny if Metalhead makes a new baseball game, and it's just so good that EA that says, we love this studio so much that we are now changing their name to EA Big.
They would have to be a pretty goddamn good game for them to deserve EA Big. Like, yeah, I was about to say, you change your name to EA Big, you got a lot. That's a lot.
I mean, if you think about it, it's just extreme stuff, so they can make it extreme baseball.
You can make it extreme baseball. Hell, I could make it extreme baseball. It won't be good, but I could make one. I'm talking. You got to have something that's worthy of the EA Big name. I don't have to tell you what kind of awesome titles came out under the EA Big moniker. No, that's some big shoes to fill.
Yeah,
that's like somebody coming out and saying, "We're the Konami of the '90s." It's like, oh, really? All right, that's expectations.
Well, people,
it'd be funny, but it might not be funny for the reasons you think.
So, for people that, just to give you kind of heads up, it's really nothing to really shout about. I just thought it was interesting because they bought another studio. We won't know until they bring out something. They're almost like Respawn. Like, you don't know until they put something out and they became a jam. So we'll have to wait and see. Because they also bought Codemaster too. And we don't know what they're going to do next. And they were known for all the racing games. So, like, we don't know. Maybe they're going to be in charge of new Need for Speed. I don't know. So all we know is they're always on the chopping block no matter what. So
yeah, don't expect to see anything of note or worth probably until 2023. 2020, late 2022, 2023. You'll make an announcement in 2022. From what I've been hearing, like, game development, at least for a decent game, should be a 2-year cycle. Yeah. So,
all right, let's go ahead and wrap up the rest of this news so we can get to our topic. Sony and Discord are, in your words, Jaron, getting in bed together for Sony's party chat. What are you going to do for?
Well, I used getting in bed together because remember not too many episodes ago, the rumor. Well, it wasn't even a rumor. Microsoft was interested in buying Discord, and that didn't happen. So now, not even a few months later, we're hearing about Sony and Discord working together on Sony's new communication features and whatnot for probably the PlayStation 5, which is good because I have yet to talk to someone who is into games, computers, whatever, that doesn't use Discord. Discord has. Okay, well, you're a holdout.
No, my computer does not get along with Discord. That's why. Go on.
Well, okay, you're a technological holdout, but you will eventually get in the Discord gang.
I feel like in like Logan Run, like, you will accept us. You will, or you'll be an outcast. Like, like,
you will be renewed.
Yeah, right. Like you will be accepted. You will.
I mean, it is inevitable, Jeremy.
Right.
It's inevitable.
Right.
But yeah,
why is my hand glowing?
I think Sony having Discord helping them on the back end, like put up their back end or their backbone of their voice chat, party chat, group chat, anything like that would be a hell of an advantage. Because I mean, let's be clear. Say, like it or not, Microsoft and Xbox still has some of the best console party chat togetherness. Period. Like, the 360 just solidified it. PlayStation, sucked a lot less with the PS4 and the group chat. I mean, I've been on group chats with you and Jerome and the guys, and it's good. It's good. It's still a little clunky. It was still a little clunky. Like, if you wanted to add someone, or if you wanted to have the party chat this volume and then in the game this volume, or whatever the hell, it's still a little clunky. So having Discord come in there, hell, I would love it to see if it makes it easier to share video, to display, to record, even implement, the HD camera, so to make it easier to stream. Imagine if the PlayStation 5 eventually made it super easy to stream, yourself and then the game, like, right there, like, even easier than it is now. Yeah, so that would be good.
It makes me wonder if, like, was Xbox just in all the way and not kind of thing? Like I guess they like, we couldn't be like kind of partially or on a certain percent of it. It's either like we want you or we don't want you kind of thing. I wonder if there was in talk of that. And I wonder if like, why did Discord decide to go with Sony if Xbox also threw that on the table? I don't know. I don't know what happens behind the doors. I don't know who put the food on the table. Okay.
A number was not high enough somewhere. That's my guess.
Okay.
At the end of the day, a number was not high enough somewhere, or the right people did not get the right type of stock options or whatever the hell. So
that chicken stock, they didn't get the right chicken stock. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, I don't want no beef. I don't want no fish stock. I want some chicken stock. All right. And so
the good stuff. Give me the good stuff.
Right. I can do a lot with chicken stock. I can't do a lot with fish stock. I can do chicken noodles, chicken and dumplings. Fish stock, it's just fish.
Chicken and gizzards, chicken and onions.
Right.
Chicken and liver.
No lie, jambalaya sounds really good right now. Anyways, so that is it for our news. Now, on to even more news, but in a different way, right? So, in this main topic, we're basically going to sit back and relax and just chat about how everything has been going so far in 2021. The first half has been a little quiet with some pop-ups here and there.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to talk about some of the stuff that fell through the cracks. Some did not fall through the cracks. And just kind of talk about, our faith for it. Let's talk about the first thing on the list. But before that first one that we have on this list, I do want to talk about the aftermath of Cyberpunk. I think that's one of the big ones that happened so far in 2021. The Mr. Fix-It kind of moments where Cyberpunk has some big mistakes happen, and they've been doing some hot fixes on this path. Jaron, what is your thoughts on this journey so far as they're still working on this game, fixing stuff, and also trying to get ready for what is the future that is Cyberpunk? What's your thoughts on that? Because you have played the game. I have not touched it yet.
I still play the game off and on. Like, if I need to take a break from something that's pissing me off and just say, you know what, I want to beat the hell out of somebody and run a couple of missions, I'll pop open Cyberpunk. CDPR has got a lot of ground to pick up. I don't have official numbers, but I don't think it's going out on too far a limb to say hardly anybody's playing this damn game anymore.
Yeah, but it's still turned a profit, right?
Oh, it still turned a profit. I thought out of like the 13 million or whatever sold, like only 30,000, at least 30,000 got refunds, at least directly from CDPR. I don't know if that was all the refunds, period, or what, but
it still know how to do refunds. Some people didn't know how it works.
Yeah,
we gave you this day.
All they know how to
do
is
you don't get
hop on the internet, hop on the internet and bitch and moan. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
I don't know. The game. Here's the thing. In and of itself, I see what they were trying to do with the game, and I'm kind of rehashing what I said earlier this year or late last year. I see what they're trying to do with the game. I liked what the parts that they had kind of polished. I liked, and I also, knowing the circumstances behind how they got in such a position, I bear no ill will to the devs. I feel bad for the devs. I understand how it is. It's, you have to deliver something because someone who doesn't have to face the consequences ginned it up and talked it up and say, yeah, we'll do that. We can do that. We can do that. I know how that is. Mm-hmm. But, side news, I think one of those guys got quit or resigned. Mm-hmm. But in any case, Cyberpunk, it's cool. I'll check it out when major patches are released. I may check it out more when major content's released, but I'm not going to do a backflip or anything.
I guess I'm going to wait. Maybe once I get my new computer built, I'll just get the We Fixed the Game edition. It'll probably be called like Cyberpunk Deluxe or Cyberpunk's re-updated or Cyberpunk, Blade Runner 2.0. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, they got a long ways to go before they are No Man's Sky redeemed.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, there's not a lot to talk about Cyberpunk because it's all out there. I mean, every media has put their 2 cents in there. But I think I just want to look at it as it's so sad to see this game in 2012 give or take 2012, maybe 2014, I want to maybe say, where we saw this tease and gradually saw this growing into something that was almost a GTA, like we talked about in our last episode. It was supposed to be a GTA level, like, move out of the way, this game is coming kind of game, right? And everybody did.
It's going to kill everything.
Everybody moved out of that way for that game too. And it's crazy because, the game came out still banged out, even though for the misses for a lot of people, but still, it still didn't live up to the fact that it just didn't do well. And it kind of sucks in that way. And it wasn't one of those opinionated ones where it's like, I didn't like the game. I just didn't like where the story is. This game was just most of it was broken. Some of it needed fixes. It's not a split like and dislike of the game. It was more of dislikes and likes of why is this game in this condition?
Yeah.
From
a company people hailed as the second coming of Christ, apparently, because of The Witcher. The Witcher and Witcher 3. People forget.
Right by the Temple of Kojima.
Huh?
I said right by the Temple of Kojima.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing. Kojima Death Stranding wasn't broken.
No, it was not. And that's what I thought it was going to be.
But it wasn't broken.
Yeah, it was either you're going to like to get Death Stranding or you don't like it, right? And I thought that was going to be like for Cyberpunk, but nope.
Yeah, so I mean, I still think back to all the outrage about just how broken it was on base PS4, base Xbox One, and it was unplayable. The fact that it's still not on the PlayStation Store.
Yep.
They pulled it. They have not put it back on there.
Yep.
So, I mean, you cannot, unless you have already bought it digitally, you cannot get this game digitally.
Yeah. So, quick question before we move on. Do you see this game getting better by the end of this year?
End of this year?
Yeah.
End of 2021.
Yeah.
God, I don't mean to come off as a pessimist, but hell no.
Okay.
The game's going to get more fixed. There are more parts of the game that are going to be fixed, but I qualify the game getting better as reaching where it was supposed to be and then exceeding that. And that is not going to happen this year.
Okay.
That is not going to happen. They can't even get the cops, the police response nailed down right.
Aren't they? I thought there was a fixed. I thought they just brought out an update for that too.
Yeah. No.
No.
It's still not fixed right. It's still not fixed right. I mean, there's a fix in that they don't immediately show up and blast your ass, but it's still not fixed right. Okay. And you can. The more they try and fix, the more they're showing more cracks. So unless they pull a miracle out of their ass, I would say I'd be surprised if this game was super playable, better. Like I'm personally proselytizing people to play it and buy it. I'd be surprised if it was in that condition by 2022 summer.
So
I'll be surprised.
So what's even worse than a game that kind of arrived broken? A game that was also hyped in its own niche community, runs still well, but the game is boring and just not fun. And it's far worse. It's so funny that this game did the right things. It's just the direction of it did terribly wrong. The gameplay is boring, and Cyberpunk still does it better than this game, and that's Balan Wonderworld, right? Here's a game that, sadly enough, it's a sad story because here's a guy that was one of the main programmers for Sonic the Hedgehog, and a lot of the Sonic series left during the Sonic 06 fiasco halfway.
Yeah.
Started his own studio, did these small little games, gets picked up by one of the top companies that are still trying above the RPGs for at least JRPGs, gets his own studio.
Contingent, but yes.
Yes. And he gets to do his dream projects. The project that everybody loved for better, for worse, right? You had Knights. You had Rhodia, Sky something. I forgot what it was.
Sky Soldier.
Sky Soldier. You had your Sonic games. You had all this library game. He done Phantasy Star. it's
Yuji Naka.
Yuji Naka, right? He's basically the godfather of some of the biggest Sega games that you could think of. Like if you played a Sega game, you touch Naka in a special place. All right, and there should be some paperwork filed for you. Now, with that being said, it sucks that here's this game that, of course, it was looking kiddish, but it had a night feel. The looks of the characters looked night. Everything was looking like that night. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really get into much tonight. I know it's unique and it's cool for its own thing, but I never got into it. I think it was just the wrong place, the wrong time. I never had a Saturn. It wasn't one of my games I looked for on the Wii. For that remastered.
Yeah.
But I always liked the look of it. It was really cool for what it is. And you get this game that in the trailer, it looked at promise. It had great promise. Like, the animation was beautiful. Top-notch CG, dude. It looked good. It looked good.
Beautiful.
But then the demo came out. And it was and that's just what hurt it. Hurt so bad. It's so bad that they were better off not putting out the demo, just put the game out and probably sell more than what it is, because people would have got burned that way instead of the demo. Yeah. And I played the demo, and I thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was a crazy one. I think a lot of people were crazy when they played the demo. Like I don't know, man. There's something about this game. I feel like I'm running, but I'm not running really fast. Every button's the same button. It does the same thing.
Two buttons.
The game is kind of laggy looking, but it's a demo, so I give it a benefit of a doubt. It's a demo. Not gonna expect the top age, but even the final product still didn't look good for its own way. It wasn't running really smooth for what it is, and it's a damn shame because I think that hurt him. Am I saying the studio's gonna shut down? No, I don't think Square Enix doesn't really shut down studios. If you think about it. I think
they don't, but he probably won't be allowed to touch his dreams again.
I see what you did there. But I think I guess maybe he'll have to work on something else with that in mind. But it's such a disappointment that this is a game that could have got him on the map even further, right? Like, nothing's worse than hearing all the top bangers. Like, your greatest hits. His greatest hits are awesome, right? And then he comes out with this. That sucks. That sucks, man.
Yeah, that could have brought his name, or at least his work, to the attention of a new generation of gamers. Because you and I know about Knights. You and I know about Sonic the Hedgehog, like the true Sonic 1 through 3 and Knuckles, Sonic the Hedgehog. But there are kids who have been born in the last 10, 15 years who, Yuji Naka, whatever, where's Fortnite? They don't care. Balan Wonderland.
Wonderworld. It should have been called Wonderland. Wonderland sounds so much better. Wonderworld is just, it's so hard to, Wonderland just always makes you say that first. Wonderworld is just.
Wonderworld.
Yeah, it's just hard. Wonderworld's too hard to remember for quick, because Wonderland's on everything. Alice in Wonderland. It's everywhere. Wonderworld doesn't get used that much. So Balan Wonderland sounds a lot cooler to me than Balan Wonderworld. But anyways, go on.
No, it's fine. It's fine. That's the thing. The fact that, the name, Balan Wonderworld, Balan Wonderland, the game itself, so much potential. But it's a bad sign when not even like a week or two after it's released. I think it came out March 26th. Mid-April, the game was selling $20, $30 off. I could have gotten that game if I was insane. I could have gotten it for $29.
Yes.
What the hell? It's like, I mean, the last game from Square Enix to get a price cut like that was the Avengers last year. So, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign.
I will never know how it feels as a game developer, of course, to have made up a product that you solely believed in. You put a demo out, and it just gets tortured, bashed, and not in a mean way. It's just for what it is, and you still have to release this game out. There's not enough time to fix everything. You can't delay it because it'll cost too much money. You know, this is your debut album. You know, the studio brought you in. That sucks, man. It hurts.
Yeah.
That story itself hurts more than the game to me.
Yeah, and because I was following a little bit of about it. You know, I even watched some videos about, you know, kind of going into the what happened with Balan Wonderworld.
Shout out to that series. I enjoyed that series.
Yeah, shout out to Matt McMuscles. He does hella good work. Mm-hmm. He and his crew do hella good work. Yeah, and they're right. They tried to do way too much. They didn't trim it down. They didn't focus. You know, and in an effort to make it simple for anybody to pick up and play, they made it boring. Mm-hmm. You know, they made it trite. They made it boring. And it makes you sit back and think even more. All these AAA publishers, developers, and everything like that, they are hit and miss. It's almost like they got a 50-50. Mm-hmm. Whereas you're seeing all these indie developers on the come up, and they're just churning out these games, just hitting them hard. And it's making you wonder, it's like, what are they doing differently? Well, you know, one, they don't have shareholders. They have to answer to the indie developers don't have shareholders. Mm-hmm. Two, they got people who are passionate about this and want to make it just right. I mean, hell, I know it sounds like I'm on Valheim, the kick, but Iron Gate Studios, those guys released an early access game that's more complete and more fun than a lot of AAA supposed quote unquote bangers, you know, that have been released in the last 6 months. Mm-hmm. You know, how the hell does that happen? And I think that's what a lot of these big name companies need to go back and they need to have a reflection. They need to take a look at the man in the mirror.
I'm talking to the man in the mirror. So sometimes I think that shut up. I think some of the studios really hold their reputation to push the sales, right? Like Yuki Naga, this game's gonna be amazing. You know, that kind of mentality. You know, games where like Cyberpunk, it's gonna be good no matter what. It's Project CD Red. You know, they're really relying on their reputation to make these sales and not really making what's the quality of that game. They're like, this is going to sell because it looks great and we got the name attached to it. And that's the banger. Like, don't get me wrong. The only people that can get away with that to me is honestly PlayStation, Nintendo as of right now.
Yeah, that's for right now. But everybody will fall. Everybody will fall at some point or another.
That's true. But it comes down to how many misses, right? And how big is that miss? For Yugi, this was a big miss. For CG Projekt Red, this was a big miss. I can't think of a major Nintendo Sony game. Well, Sony, I think, has some major hits miss.
Days Gone.
Well, it still did well. I was thinking Knack. But
oh god, yeah, Knack. I mean, it did well enough to get Knack 2, and then
yeah. But for Nintendo, I'm trying to think what was that big banger that was a total miss, and not because people like or dislike how the game is. I'm talking about it was just terrible. It was just terrible on arrival. Maybe Star Fox Zero.
Labo. You always want to pick on Star Fox Zero.
I'm calling it for what it is, man. I am calling it for what it is.
If you didn't have to worry about the motion controls of Star Fox Zero, that would be actually pretty decent.
I agree, but I'm just putting it there. That's just where it is, and that's why we haven't seen it in a while.
I'll put it this way. That could go from infamous game to if they re-release it on Switch next month.
I say I agree, and I will be quiet if they do it, and it does well. It does well. Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo, I would probably say their Labo game. Their Labo.
Well, I'm talking about like the band. That's more of like gimmick stuff, right? I'm talking about like a main game, right? Like, what was that one miss that you can think of from Nintendo? And I'm pretty sure for listeners, they're probably saying it a million times, like this game, and maybe I'm just not getting that. You know,
leave a comment below and tell us. But
yeah,
I can't think of something in recent memory from Nintendo. And I mean, what are our parameters? Are we talking about critical success, financial success?
I guess like like at the level of what CG Project Red's like, you know, Cyberpunk game or that. Not in like a sci-fi, just more like this is a AAA game coming from them. Like, what is that AAA?
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard because
Would you put
Nintendo's not going to let their devs fuck up a Mario game.
No. But, you know, you still got other franchise. Like, Paper Mario's a hit and miss. There are a couple of the games that are kind of misses.
Origami King's got a lot of mixed reviews, yes.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't like the game is straight trash play, right? It was just more of, I didn't like I didn't like the battle system, or I didn't like the way this idea is. It wasn't because like it wasn't boring. Now, of course, everybody will find some reason the game is boring, but we're talking about like boring, like right off the front. Not one of those like I played for a minute, I got bored. At least it was entertaining for you for a minute, right? Battle of Wonderworld was boring from the start, so that's what sucks about it. It didn't get boring as you got to continue on.
If people who bought Paper Mario Origami King, they're not. I mean, they're disappointed, but they're not mad and feel like they wasted $60. They still got a complete story and experience. Yeah. People who bought Balan Wonderworld for full price, God, I don't know who that is, but whoever bought Balan Wonderworld for full price, they pissed.
See, I feel like the buyers for those is one, buyers that just didn't pay attention to reviews or play the demo. You know, they just went for it. And second, those people where it's like I want to play and put my own opinion on it, which hey, that's cool, but that's money. So if you want to drop money to prove if they're right or wrong, go right ahead. That's you. Me, I ain't doing that. All right, I'll take a chance on some 6s and 7s, but if it's a 4 and a 5, majority by reviews, I think they're leading on to something. I think they're putting something together there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's one of the reasons I'm kind of on numbers. I just want to be like, buy it, play it, pass on it. That's all people need to know. It's like Balan Wonderworld is a pass, is a hard pass, and that's for a lot of people. Here's the thing, and this is kind of going to speculative territory, but this game being that bad and that selling so low, I don't even think it sold 100,000. And that's across all the platforms. It was like Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Windows. I think this is crazy, but I think people who try and grab it on the Switch or PS4 or whatever like that, if they try to get a physical copy, who knows? Maybe this will be in whatever amount of time in the future. It's like, oh my God, this game's so rare because it sold like trash because it sucked, but now it's worth like $800.
What if I told you, and this could happen, and I'm only using Final Fantasy example. Remember Final Fantasy 14 when it first came out? It was just straight garbage.
Oh, I knew some major anime fans who were pissed about 14.
Yeah. And then what did they do? Right?
Realm Reborn.
Yeah. Does Balan Wonderworld, could that get that treatment to start now, get ready for next year to show off Balan Wonderworld Revisit? Or maybe Balan Wonderland, so it kind of feels like it's his own reboot kind of thing. You know, could that get that treatment and be fine, and he can fix all the problems? Or you think it's like, you know what, they just need to move on because Square Enix likes doing bringing stuff back in a different condition and retrying it again.
Here's the difference: Final Fantasy 14, which meant it had 13 other games behind it in the main series.
True.
And and Final Fantasy, the title itself, has so much expectation. Balan Wonderworld's like going into a new job. Sorry, there's a gnat flying around here. Going to a new job, your first day, you don't know anybody, you got hired, and then ripping one loudly during employee orientation to where you crap your pants. That first impression is gone. It is done. You are forever known as that dude who shat himself. You know. It's not like, oh yeah, you know, he stumbled, he had a bad day, but look at all this other stuff they did. Nope. This isn't Balan Wonderworld 8. This is Balan Wonderworld.
Well, you know, Balan Wonderworld should have got canceled and reborn in that way because Anthem 2.0 got canceled by EA this year. And a lot of people that have been sticking with it to the end are very upset, while the rest of the world is, it's about time. It's about time. You guys need to move on. You know.
Yeah. Don't be so don't be so concentrated on wasting time on a mistake just because you invested so much time making it.
Yeah. So EA and BioWare decided to cancel Anthem 2.0 and moving on to Dragon Age 4. So the rest of the development they're focusing on the next game. I never got a chance to play Anthem, but based on what I have seen in remarks of people were saying, it's another situation like Avengers. These are developers' first time trying to do an ongoing game of service game, and this one was for BioWare was that Icarus disease. They fly too high to the sun, and it just didn't work out. Do I give them credit for taking a risk on it? Yes, but at the same time, you would think after Destiny and other games that you expect BioWare to be up there with Destiny, right? They should have we're prepared for this, right? But they just didn't do well.
Yeah, they were chasing that Destiny or they were ordered by EA to chase that Destiny money. BioWare is not the same company it was back when everybody fell in love with the name because of Baldur's Gate and KOTOR and the first Dragon Age and the first 3 Mass Effect games, by the way, Legendary Edition dropping as of this recording by the end of the week. So they're not the same company. A lot of the creative developers, the creative writers, the directors, a lot of the key staff who made those games work are gone. They left. Thanks, EA. I played Anthem. I played Anthem when I had a brief membership to EA's the EA
Access. Okay.
Yeah. I played a little bit of it. I saw what they were trying to do, but there were so many bits where I was like, man, I wish they had done this. I wish they had done that. The flying, they played up the flying, being able to just take off and your javelin, fly, whatever, land, fight in the air. Yeah. Guess what? You can fly. You can fly for about this much, but then your engines overheat and you have to land. So you got to fly through water or fly underwater to keep your engines cool. I was like, I understand they have to make kind of a limit, but that's kind of a lame ass limit.
Mm-hmm.
And weak ass limit, whatever you want to use for it. But, BioWare was not the company to make Anthem. Anthem could have been great. Who I would have liked to have seen take a crack at Anthem? Respawn, because guess what? Titanfall 2, everybody's playing the hell out of that game, and why not? Titanfall 2 is actually fun. Titanfall had sparks of genius. They went back to Titanfall 2 and refined it. Now everybody's playing it. I would have loved to see Respawn Studios take a crack at
that and Apex Legends.
Well, that's why we have Apex Legends.
Yeah. Because
Respawn was allowed to do their own thing. Anthem as an idea could have worked in another universe.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was primarily pushed out to make us more money after the game's out.
And it's funny too because EA, we were going to see a game of service from EA eventually. I mean, Ubisoft already tipped their hand in the hat there, and we always believe that Ubisoft and EA are the top two, third party rivals, right, in the industry. I mean,
Activision.
No, because Activision only sticks with one thing. We're talking about variety, right? EA does all this. Activision is Call of Duty. Here's one other game, then back to Call of Duty. EA, at least, and Ubisoft, at least they have scattered different categories of kind of games. They have done the strategy. They have done RPG. They have done shooters. They have done, Activision they don't really variety of that. They go where the money is. Look, we have a system here. We have 3 studios based on this system. We're sticking with that. And I ain't going to hate on them for that. But at the same time, that people still buy it. So it is what it is.
And they definitely voted with their wallets for Anthem.
Yes. And so my question is, would Anthem 2.0 really maybe help save that game and picked up more people? Or do you think that this would have just, it already died and it just was a waste of time?
I think at that point, Anthem was dead. Anthem did not last 6 months. It did not even last 6 months.
Got my $5 award.
Yeah. I mean, as opposed to the Division and the Division 2, The Division 2, which came out like 3 or 4 years ago, still going strong.
Division 2 feels like Division 2.0. Like it feels like that's the Anthem 2.0, right?
Yeah. Different location, expand on the story, expand on the mechanics, all of that. Yeah, that's how you do it. And Division 2.0 still had goodwill from the Division because the Division had a solid roadmap and they stuck to it. And they released it on time and it had interesting content, at least part of the time, if not most of the time. So they earned the right to have a Division 2.0. Games as a service or not, season pass, whatever, they did their thing. So, not going to happen. Anthem 2.0 was never going to happen. They're better off working on Dragon Age 4 and getting this Mass Effect Legendary Edition out, selling a whole bunch of that because they know they're going to, and then getting something out that ignores Mass Effect Andromeda and gets us back to the shoes of Shepard.
Yep. All great games that we'll never see on Nintendo. As Nintendo just announced on their shareholder meeting that they have broke a new sale record on the Switch, beating the GBA with 84.59 million units sold. Why the hell is EA not just putting stuff on there? Please go listen to our EA versus Nintendo talk last year on season 4. Please. But that's right there. It's like they're still breaking records. They're almost up there with the Wii. They're catching up to the Wii now, right?
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah. And in 10 years, I would say in less than 10 years, you will see Switches all over the place. It's like, hey, here's a Switch, hardly used, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be like you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a used Switch, just like with the Wii.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing. EA does release games on the Switch. They're just not the games that EA knows that will sell on the Switch.
Right. A lot of third-party developers, not just EA, but some third-party developers just don't want to tip their hat in there because they just feel like that's not the right place. Like, how do you know it's the right place until you put it on there? You can't put it on a last console and compare that one. Wii U was just a dead console. I understand that. It just wasn't doing well. Yeah. But the numbers are showing you here. Here it is. Even Square Enix, that has been that kind of drop ship, is back into the map, making kind of special games for them, and it's doing well for them. There is no excuse for EA. There is no excuse for Sega. There is no excuse for Activision, But Activision, I get it. Activision is just going to go where they want to go. That's why I'm saying they're their own thing. But
people who are playing Activision stuff are concentrate on graphics.
But I will say this. Activision is showing more love than EA because we are getting Tony Hawk in June. We have Spyro and Crash on those things, right? And Crash 4. So at least Activision is showing a little more love than EA. And EA could have used a lot of their back catalog games to throw it on there, but they don't, and that's just sad to say. And same thing with Sega. Sega could throw all of their classics on there. Like we were talking about the Sega Saturn, like throw those collections on there. You could throw a dead cat at the Switch, like you said, and it would sell. It would sell.
Yeah.
It's shovelware dead cats, okay? So
as many Genesis collections that have been released, re-released since the days of the PS2, it's time to move on to Saturn and Dreamcast.
Yeah.
It's long past time.
Yeah, but that's beside the point, right? The point is Sega needs to show some more love in there. Put Persona on there. Stop playing. Anyways, with Mario Kart 8 hitting up 35 million copies, we have Animal Crossing at 32. 32! It's only been out for a year. A year. It's this close to being like the number one biggest sell game on the Switch. That's nuts. That's nuts. It's an Animal Crossing game. I know there's a big
pandemic changed things, man. I
know, man. But at the same time, it's just kudos to Animal Crossing. This underdog game series has came up. It's almost a Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem was the underdog. And then that Awaken happened. So we don't even know. Will be another Animal Crossing in the future? Yes, definitely. Nintendo is just hitting these marks, like doing their own thing. And it's incredible that there's still people out there that are kind of a bit of a haters. Like, hate if you want. I'm pretty sure you own one. Pretty sure you got one on you. I think all the haters have a Switch. And except you. You're not a hater. But all the haters.
I mean, I hate within reason.
yeah, but I'm talking about those haters that, they want to talk about like, all they do is do Mario and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, you ain't looking in the catalog hard enough, player.
You mean morons?
Yeah.
I mean, you could be nice. I don't have to be nice. Evil of Aku, not nice of Aku. Morons. They're morons.
Yeah. Which Nintendo has announced that, they are working on new IPs, but still, working on some of their classic IPs like they normally do. So nothing has changed. And so
Nintendo, I'll put it this way, Nintendo knows what they're doing. That doesn't mean they're absolved of any fault or anything. They still make very anti-consumer actions.
Yes.
I mean, I sent you this thing on Twitter a few days ago. I would love to. It was a mock-up, but I would love to see them say, you know what? F this. Legend of Zelda 3D Anthology. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. Here you go. Merry Christmas.
That would break. That would break Twitter, right? That would just break it.
Yeah, that would make people flip their lids. But they saw how people flipped their lids and showed out for Mario 3D All Stars, and they're like, "Oh snap! You know what? Skyward Sword. You all didn't buy enough of that, so you're gonna have to buy this separately."
Yeah, and that's gonna make buku. Like, regardless of Nintendo, love or hate for Nintendo, they, like you said, they know what they're doing. They're just good at they're good at doing the things that the other consoles are not doing, and that's what you have to do. You have to do something to make yourself stand out. And it's so sad that we're not seeing this with Microsoft. I want Microsoft to be up there on the charts. I would love for them to be in the top 6 or 5, but they're not up there. And hopefully this console will do it, because with all the suits they bought, they have a good chance once they decide to put their games out. But kudos to Nintendo. This is still the beginning for them. They're still pushing. We don't know if a new Switch is still in the talks of coming out. We don't know what new games are still coming out. Hopefully E3, they'll blow us away, along with, other developers except PlayStation. They're not going to be part of that. But, anything else you want to add for Nintendo?
There is going to be a Zelda Direct kind of, talk. They're going to release some more.
Not that fake trick. Not that fake Nintendo Direct people fell for.
No, it's going to be. They're trying to do some. They're basically going to say, we're going to have more Skyward Sword HD news and more. And you know how Nintendo is. They like to drop surprises. As like, hey, we're going to acknowledge more about Zelda. I know you were talking about you expected more Zelda acknowledgement now that all the Mario stuff is done.
Yeah. New
fiscal year. I don't think we're going to get a Zelda 99, but I would like to see them maybe a little bit more, maybe more Breath of the Wild 2 news, although we may get that at E3. I think E3 is the time to do that.
Yeah.
But probably more HD or re-releases of Zelda games. I did read somewhere, someone brought up a good point. Zelda 2, Adventure of Link. Where's a remaster of that? I'd like to see a remake of that. That was a very out of left field Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
It was an action RPG.
I feel like that's definitely another studio other than another first party studio doing it within there, right?
Like Samus Returns.
Yeah, basically. Like Next Level Games can do it. They just inquired them for the people that did Luigi's Mansion. They could probably do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, like someone in there, not Camelot, because they're too busy getting ready to sell that Mario Golf game coming in June too. So
Mario Golf. You know it's good. Yeah. I'm just waiting for the next Mario soccer game. Mario Strikers.
But I guess you can say Nintendo right now is too big to fail. Just like Sony's motto recently that they want to do. So, Jaron, you wanted to kind of talk about the whole Sony changing direction of their ways due to we're not getting a sequel to crap. What was the game we were just talking about? The other the one we just talked about, like The Last of Us.
Days Gone.
Days Gone. We're not getting a sequel. Days Gone. Some of the developers are working on either a remastered or remake of The Last of Us that we're thinking that's connected to the TV show by HBO, and other whatnot. And they're talking about, this too big to fail philosophy so much that some of the studios in Japan are shutting down. Some people are leaving, looks like that they're kind of going more Hollywood. Hollywood style, just nothing but big bangers like your God of Wars, Horizon Zero Dawn, and not really focus on the little artists, little fun indies and all that. It has been a bit of a movement. I think people have spent their minds, but Jaron, I want you to speak your mind about it. What is your thoughts on this too big to fail?
So I smell a lot of PlayStation 3 hubris again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's a cycle. They say history, first go around, history is tragic. The second go around, it's a farce. So the fact that Sony is making these decisions, some of them may pan out. I mean, I'll still check out The Last of Us HBO show, but a remaster of The Last of Us on the PS that came out on the PS3 and
PS4. No, PS4 got a remastered.
Yeah,
The Last of Us.
PS4 got a remaster, but they're working on a remake.
Yes, for the PS5. Yes.
Yeah. Why? To tie into the HBO show? But still, why? I ask again, why? They have to just make absolute gold, because the first thing out of a whole bunch of people's mouths are, why didn't you remake Last of Us Part 2? I didn't like that. They're
gonna remake it using the actual actors from the show.
I mean, they could, but that's arrogance. The fact that they had everybody running scared for like almost a month or more because they were shutting down the PS3 and Vita store. And then enough people got pissed and made videos and everything like that Jim Ryan's like, oh, I didn't know people like playing this old crap. All right, cool. We won't close it down. He
has a hard time telling the difference between him and people. Like, I don't like it, so everybody must not like it.
Yeah. No, it's that confirmation bias. It's that BS. It's like, I ate last night. There's no world hunger. I ate last night. I know it's that attitude. But Sony is hitting that level of arrogance because PS4 was the console to own for like 7 years. Especially in the last 4 or 5. Some of the top games that came out in the last 3 or 4 years were PS4 games. I mean, hell, the fact that, and I mean, I know we're going to touch on this a little bit more, but the fact that you still can't get a PS5.
Yep, and that's one of the news. Definitely, we're going to roll right into that too. Go ahead. We're rolling this all together in our last pack here. Yeah, still hard to find those two consoles. Still.
Yeah, those two consoles help graphics cards. I mean, everybody knows semiconductor shortage, fridges, cars, consoles, GPUs, CPUs, shortage. Don't expect to be able to walk into a store and buy any of that crap willy-nilly until probably 2022, 2023. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is. But the fact that they're trumpeting, oh, we sold 5 million, blah, 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 this is great selling,
fastest selling console of all time. I'm like,
yeah, everybody's like, why do I only know like one person that has one? Mm-hmm. And that's not trying to flip it for a 200% profit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why is it that I can still go on Facebook Marketplace right now and see at least 10 listings of PlayStation 5 digital or disc only? Someone's selling it for $700, $800, $900, $1,200. Why are people trying to get grad school tuition money for this thing? That's rubbing people raw. And they're not acknowledging enough. Microsoft kind of is, but they could do it more too. They're not acknowledging that, hey, we know we want to get more out there. It has been 6 months. Mm-hmm. 6 months, since the system came out, and you still can't. Stores don't even carry it in the store. They still have to go online. You can't even go in the store.
Yep.
So yeah, that's too big to fail. Nothing. And some of that's out of their control. But the fact that they're not acknowledging it, the fact they're trying to just gloss over it with the feel good. Screw that.
I think that this is going to tire it out for the community of these two big blockbuster games. And I know that you get those gamers that are like, I bought this console mainly to play the big AAA games and graphical, top-notch game. That's what I wanted it for. And I understand that too. But there is that other percent that plays it for many varieties. Those special games that Sony takes risk on, and and they're wonderful in their own way. And it kind of sucks that, especially from Japan, where they give you these kind of beloved games, but to stick with these other series, they're going to wear out their welcome. The only reason why people are not sick of GTA, because GTA is not a Call of Duty. You're not getting one every year. But
granted, GTA 5 is not going to be on 3 generations of consoles. But
True. But you're not getting like a GTA 5 this edition, different setting. GTA 5 this, like Call of Duty. You're not getting like a different Call of Duty, but like said in the same way. Anyways, that's beside the point. But I'm basically trying to say is that let's use God of War for example. I was done with God of War ever since the last one. Now, don't get me wrong, the new God of War is awesome. I like it, but I was done with Kratos a while back. I'm like, Kratos' story's over to me a long time ago. I kind of wanted a new protagonist in that way. But how long is God of War gonna go? It's gonna have to end eventually. Horizon Zero Dawn
making money.
I know, but sooner or later, look. I know it sucks the too big to fail, because we're in the situation as gamers and customers that we're gonna keep buying it no matter how much people complain about it. It sucks that way. I hate that. I hate the fact that like, man, I'm done with God of War, and yet you still buy it day one. And it's like,
yeah,
we're still
day one folks. Yeah,
because apparently the people that are sick of it, you're this small compared to the pie. That's what I believe. That's what I believe.
Why do you think Madden hasn't really changed aside from it's essentially a glorified roster update, and they resell you some new functions every year? Same with NBA 2K.
Yeah.
And the people who complain about that, this small. But every year, as soon as Madden release comes up or FIFA, you got people lined up.
Yeah.
Everybody's on that new Madden or that new FIFA.
Yeah. But just for Sony alone, I mean, they're trying to bang shot on these kind of ideas. It's basically almost to the point with Capcom. Except Capcom is in their renaissance, so they're doing better. But they were always been at the point to me of like, once they get a hit, they like to keep doing it until it runs to the ground, and then try to find a new way to reinvent it and run it to the ground. Resident Evil is a perfect example. It has been ran to the ground till 6, took a break, found something new with 7. Now they're going to run that to the ground. But wait, there's more. We're going to remake the other ones again to make you love them again and kind of help us make y'all remember why Resident Evil is that way. Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter, they're going to run that to the ground. Granted, it's making buku money. I get it. And why stop while you're making money like that? Yakuza, what we're talking about. Yakuza's doing well now, and that's going to be run to the ground. But Sony, Street Fighter, yeah. But Sony's different to me, right? Because Sony, I feel like they have more variety to do stuff, and they did. I mean, when's the last time you played a Sony RPG game? They stopped doing Sony RPG games a long time ago. Like, you don't get Wild Arms anymore. Those kind of Legend of Dragoon, which people, been begging for it. This small. I think I need to do a segment called "You're This Small." Yeah,
that's gonna.
You're this small of the pie, because that's basically what it is. I feel like that this too big to fail. The reason they're doing it because that's where people are buying. You're buying so many Last of Us. You're buying so many God of War. You're buying some more Horizon Zero Dawn. You're buying these, and that's why they keep coming. You're not spending money on these RD studios, the people that did Shadow of Colossus, The Last Guardian, The Puppeteer, Gravity Rush. You're not buying as much games in those studios because Sony is catering now, and a lot of developers are now merging their style to the Western world now. A lot of games are not coming back to Japanese style anymore. Everybody's going to the Western style, and it kind of sucks.
Where the money is.
It is. You're absolutely right, and it kind of sucks for me because I love the Japanese style. I love the weird cookie stuff that they do over there. It's an exit out of the Western world. Sorry, I have plenty of first person shooter games. Give me something new.
Yeah.
I got every RPG in the Western is basically the same. You wake up, you make choices, you pick what class you want. and go. That's why Square Enix is the last like torch kind of for the JRPGs per se, you know, because they're kind of doing their own thing. Yes, they add a little Western to it. But not too much to ruin the image.
Too.
Say what?
You still got Atlas as well.
Yeah, Atlas. Yes, but Atlas is just not shouting loud enough. I mean, there are two big bangers. Weirdly enough, the second one's a low end banger, but you have Persona, and then you have the Shin Megami Tensei. You know, Shin Megami Tensei is big in Japan. It's pretty small here, right? Hopefully, the newest one on the Switch will give some, you know, some room since Switch is doing so well. This is Shin Megami's chance to really become something. You know.
I mean, it's not to take away anything. I liked the Norse God of War. I liked Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
You know, I look forward to Horizon Forbidden West, you know, those games. But the thing is, none of them are day one buys for me, but I will eventually play them. Last of Us part 1 and part 2. I did get those on day one. It's very rare I do a day one. But the fact that we're seeing more AAA studios go towards that Western style because it's safe, makes money. Now, indie studios, you mentioned indie studios are the ones that can experiment and still do kooky stuff. That's how we got Undertale, games like Undertale and Grease, and that's how we have games like Valheim and Hades. That's great. But you know what the failing of a lot of indie studios are starting to become, and I'm starting to see the pattern. They see something that's successful, and they just keep making that. They're doing the same thing. No offense to anybody who likes it.
I already know what you're gonna say. Let's bring out the retro. Come on, bring out the retro.
I'm tired of the low resolution pixel count roguelike.
Yep.
I said it before. I will say it 36 times before I die. I'm getting fed up. I get it. You know, roguelike it's a cost-effective way to make new content without having to extend your development time. You can make the game procedurally generate a different game every time. I get it. I really do. I'm worn slick on it. I'm worn very slick on it. You know, I mean, hell, the AAA game Returnal, you know, it's not even doing what other roguelike games will do and let you kind of save your progress somewhere, and people are bitching about that. Returnal, the one of the PS5 exclusives. I mean, people like it. It's not a bad game, but they kind of left out. They're going to revisit it. I heard they're going to look into it. But yeah, I'm tired of roguelike. It's funny because I said I have Hades and I haven't started playing that yet. That's because everybody won't shut up about it. So I'll give it a shot. But aside from that, I'm tired of roguelike. I'm tired of oh, look at us, we're so low pixel, we're like 8/16-bit mixture. Oh, aren't we cute and kitschy? Please buy us. You know, we love that. It's like, I know you guys can do something better than that. You guys have the technology. You got Unity Engine, damn it.
A lot of shovelware, and which is funny because it's a lot of shovelware kind of doing those games that's trying to be like Shovel Knight. It's kind of funny that way. It's actually funny that a couple days ago, and we got to get ready to wrap this up, is that there's a song I like called "Backstabbers" by the OJs, and I'm like,
yes.
isn't that just a funny coincidence? Like, this connects later on with OJ Simpson, you know. I thought that was just funny. Backstabbers.
Oh God.
Backstabbers.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
lies to your face.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you've never listened to the song "Backstabbers" by the OJs, give it a listen. I guarantee so many of you will find so many analogs or parallels with some of your social lives.
Yeah.
You know,
it's such a good song. It's such a good song. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's right up there with James Brown's "Payback" with me. As far as like when I'm feeling in a certain mood, I'll put that on.
Yeah, so. Just that beat. That beat it is just creepy. And then you hear that beat of like, dun, 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 dun. What they do, you know, like and right there is like, oh snap, it's about to go down.
Oh yeah, no but no, that's my soapbox on roguelikes. Okay. It's like they're great when done right, but they're being overdone.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see what Sony's idea of too big to fail. You know, maybe this is taken out of proportion. Maybe that they're going to do different variety of stuff. They're just going to go more of maybe the Western direction. We don't know because we don't know what the rest of the studio is doing. Like we know Insomniac got Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man under the belt, but just a while ago they just did their What crap? I think they just redid their trademark for Sunset Overdrive. So
Yeah,
maybe
they renewed the patent.
Yeah, so that might come back in the mix. We don't know what Sucker Punch is doing now ever since Ghost of Tsushima. Will there be a second one? I don't know. Probably it's going to be a second one. It's definitely going to be a second one.
I heard it looks beautiful upscaled on the PS5. And that's the other thing. A lot of people are like, why do I want to buy a PS5? The only thing I can play on there that I can't play anything anywhere else is Returnal. Even Horizon Forbidden West is getting a PS4 version.
Yeah, and the Spider-Man, the
Miles Morales.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah. I beat that on the PS4. I was like, cool.
No, but it was a good decision at the end of the day, right? Because it's like you said, no one can buy a PS5. You better cater to those PS4 people still.
Yeah. Do not cannibalize your own market.
Yeah. So, but with that, we do got to wrap it up, but this is 2021 so far for us. And our thoughts about it, we might do a fall edition to see what happens, after E3, whatever happens, what other big surprises, who's requiring somebody next? Because apparently that's a thing now. Everybody just acquires somebody,
Monopoly. I love Monopoly.
Right. Who knows? Maybe Disney will come out with a console. I don't know. Anyways, but as you know, this is part of the In-Game Boss program that we're giving out a variety show. So please check out all our stuff. We have a link tree down below to connect you to all our great content and great places to listen to all our stuff. So definitely check out our shows. And YouTube. Check out our content on YouTube. We would love to have your support there. Subscribe. We would love you there. And enjoy all our great stuff from there. Jaron, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No, I'm sure you'll get the social medias. We love being contacted on social medias. Yep. I love being contacted on social medias. Mm-hmm. Jeremy, maybe you do. Maybe I don't know.
I'm maybe more on my in-game than my actual name, Retro M07. So like, you want to talk to me more? I'll be on the in-game one, which you can type in @ProgramIn. Yes. But if you still want to talk to me on Retro Amp07, that's what I am. And my boy here is.
If you want to talk to me, I'm @TheGrumpyBear84. Careful, I like a lot of wrestling and video game memes. So be it.
It's all right. With that, thank you so much, and we will catch you on our next stage. Stage clear. Let's go.
New high score for 2021.